Hey friends, I wanted to jump on here really quickly because I had originally planned, as you know, for us to meet live today for our multiply session inside the Kingdom Wealth Creator Workshop. But honestly, several things have come up. So after returning from the Ascend conference this weekend, and spending a lot of intentional time, some not so intentional. Some of you know that as soon as I got back from the event, I got really sick. In fact, I'm still recovering, but spending a lot of quality time with God, really processing everything He downloaded into my spirit. I realized something really, really important, and that is that the multiply portion of this incredible framework that God has blessed us with is so important. In fact, too important and also too personal to rush through in one Zoom session. What I experienced this weekend, and I'll be sharing more as the weeks go by, it was not just a business conference, it was a kingdom encounter. And one of the biggest themes that kept coming up over and over again was this idea that God multiplies differently through each of us. Really, really important. So some people are called to multiply through business, like I am. Some people, it's ministry. Sometimes it's literally investments themselves, books, communities, right? Maybe it's centers of influence or creativity or leadership. There could be people that are brilliant and called to recurring revenue or generosity, legacy. I know that many of us have callings in some of these things, right? There's several of them that I have a calling towards. And the thing is, the how is deeply connected to our identity. It is connected to our calling and our experience, our own unique gifts that we all have, and the assignment that God has placed on your life specifically. And I realized I don't want this to become just another teaching. I don't want to give you a generic, multiply harder message, right? Because multiplication in the kingdom is not a one size fits all. And at Ascend, one of the biggest revelations was that relationships matter more than performance. And trust creates velocity, and identity matters, and stewardship matters. And many people are underestimating what God has already placed inside of them. So instead of doing one Zoom session today, over the next couple of weeks, I want you to go inward. This is a challenge from me to you to go inward and really start to talk to God about what that calling is on your life, what that calling is for your business. And I'm going to start sharing videos. Sorry to cough in your ear. I'm going to start sharing videos over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to share stories. I'm going to share specific teachings about some of the ways I am multiplying specifically. Some of them will be very practical strategies. Some will be very real examples of multiplication happening in my own life, my business, my partners' lives. And honestly, this is where I believe that I'm uniquely called to help people. Not just because I teach and love to share the good news of wealth and tax strategy. That is a side benefit, but God has positioned me specifically as a kingdom wealth strategist, a connector of people, a connector of systems, and I am brilliant at ecosystems. I see things that other people don't see. And someone who sees possibilities and pathways that many people don't see for themselves. Okay. And I really believe many of you are one conversation away from breakthrough. But I know personally that breakthrough doesn't usually happen just from another worksheet or another Zoom session as a group. It happens through clarity and activation and relationship and partnership. Sometimes not with your business partner. Sometimes it starts with your spouse. And also, it's very personalized. So here's my encouragement to you. Don't just stay in learning mode. Take action. So the first thing I ask you is, have you taken action on protect, the first step? Have you taken action on earn? Have you really evaluated yourself in those areas? And I want to challenge you to schedule your own personal multiply session with me. This is not a sales call, by the way, because I have nothing to sell you. I am not a coach that has a package, by the way, that is planning to enroll you in that program. And not that there's anything wrong with that. That is just not simply how my model works. Okay. But this is going to be a very personal session where we can pray together. One of my favorite things to do, we can dream together. We can identify opportunities together. We can uncover obstacles that you may not even be aware you're facing. And we can create a very personalized multiplication strategy around what your calling is, what your assignment is. Because I believe God is rising up kingdom wealth creators in this session. That are positioned for victory, that are kingdom influencers, not for greed, not for striving, not for hustle culture, by the way. It's for freedom. It is for generosity and impact and legacy. And number one thing, it's for kingdom expansion. And I'm so excited for what God is building in all of us. And I truly believe that we are just getting started. So, friends, my sweet girl is graduating this week. I'm going to be focused on her and my family. Next week, we're going to be on holiday in Mexico. And I am going to be sending out content to you this next couple of weeks. And I'm going to be opening up my calendar the second week in June. And I invite you to schedule that session with me. But do the work ahead of time so that when we get together, it's really, really meaningful and intentful and very, very action oriented for you so that you can take territory in your new unique assignment. Blessings, everybody, in this amazing life journey. And I can't wait to see you all personally.